Good evening, and if you're just tuning in, you are listening to or watching live the Angel Rock on UFO, Paranormal, and United Public Radio Network, and I'm your host, Lorilei Potvin. A little bit about myself. I am a Canadian psychic medium, crystal Reiki energy healer, Akashic Records practitioner, spiritual teacher, and mentor. Oh, you guys, I swear, speaking of distractions, everything starts popping up. It's not streaming. Roku doesn't want to play nice, so Roku, behave yourself. You'll hear about Roku in a minute. I'm also, according to our guest, and you're going to hear more from her, an animal communicator. I always say budding. She says I'm not budding, so I'm adopting the animal communication part. Also, I'm well-versed in near-death experiences, having had one as a toddler myself, and I've studied them professionally and personally for over 40 years. I'm also extremely well-versed in the paranormal. I always say I didn't go looking for it, it found me. And we shared our story on the Travel Channel's Paranormal Survivor, Season 4, Episode 9, called Demonic Hauntings. I also co-host a second show started on the network here on Thursday nights called The Thing at the Foot of the Bed at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with my good friend and amazing co-host, David Hansel. So we will see you on Thursday, even though it's American Thanksgiving coming up. Also, speaking of Roku, if you guys want to watch us on TV, the network does have its own TV channel. It's on Roku. You're going to go to the channel store and type in UFO space P as in paranormal. There's a drop-down list and you're looking for UFO space paranormal and United Public Radio, and that's how you can watch us. And it keeps popping up at me. Stop that, Roku. It's so distracting when you're producing your own show, because I still got to add Snapchat. I wish, no, TikTok, but you guys will hear that in a minute. Also, what else do I want to tell you guys? If you do want to watch, this is how I'm going to tell you so that you can join in the conversation, because this network's been around for 25 plus years. We've got close to 40 hosts that are live daily, several times a day. When we're not live, the archive server kicks in. So we are streaming live 24 hours a day. But 80% of our audience is audio only from around the world. So if you can't see us, you won't be able to comment. So how you can join us, and we've had to switch things up a bit here because Mr. Facebook has not wanted to play nice. So how you can join in the conversation, you can go to my Facebook profile, which is Lorilei Potvin. That's a public profile, so you don't have to be a friend. You can still comment on the show. We're streaming on Instagram under the Angel Rock, and sometimes it goes for the 2 hours, sometimes it doesn't, and they don't integrate your comments over on Instagram, so I have to go back and forth, but we will do our best. We're also streaming on my Rumble account. Now it's under my username Mystique 1508, and I always say it's not a stripper name. That comes from X-Men. So if you're an X-Men or X-Men fan, you will understand the name. It's a lady that was blue, that shapeshifter. It's kind of a cool name. Back in the day, I picked that. So it's under there. We are going to be streaming on TikTok under the Angel Rock 1508. I have not started it yet. I will once we get talking. And where else are we streaming? Let me check. Oh, of course, YouTube. We're on our main YouTube channel for the network, which is UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio Network. I had to think about that for a minute. Sorry, guys. And then my Facebook channel or YouTube channel. My brain will start working, I promise. The Angel Rock with Lorilei Potvin. We're also streaming on UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio Network on Twitch. I check all the platforms up here to see where we're streaming. So did I tell you everything I wanted to tell you? I think I did. So come join the conversation. The main thing is if you can see us, you can comment. If not, you'll just be able to listen, but we'd love to have you join in the conversation. Give me a sec here, guys. Sorry, I was coming down with something over the weekend, and obviously my brain hasn't caught up yet. I feel better, but it's not playing nice today. So what do I want to I want to tell you about our guest. Now, I was just telling her it's been a year since she's been on, just over a year. And I thought it was about high time you guys get to see how amazing and wonderful she is. She's here every week for this show, for The Thing at the Foot of the Bed. And she's worked with me personally, as well as I've taken one of her courses, which was incredible. And her name is Julie Jeanne Bassett. She's an animal communicator, a pet medium, and energy healing practitioner. She's also a shamanic practitioner. Her passion and her service to humanity is to help resolve physical, emotional, and behavioral issues in their companion animals as well. She works with people too. We're going to be talking about all her work tonight. So welcome, Julie.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad to have you. Like I said, my mouth wasn't working. I'm going to say hi to everybody first. And then you guys are going to hear ping, ping, ping as we're talking, but we're going to get TikTok rolling here. I had to use a special program to get it to work. So we got Z-Sun Dragon or Kevin, Leslie 1266, Kathy Hanley Little. Let's see who else we got here. We got Mish. You know, I got to tease you, Mish. I always say she's over in the future there in Australia, and we're glad she's joining in. She says, hi, all. It's Tuesday morning over there. Let me see who everybody's saying hi to one another. We've got Howie Odell. He's tipping his top hat to everyone and says, evening, Laura and Julie. And you guys, Howie has, or Ed Odell on Facebook, both work for him. He goes by either. He has his own network, which is the Riff Nation Network, and he's a big supporter of UPRN, so we always like to give our supporters a shout out. He has his own show, The Orion Effect, that David and I have been on. David, my co-host from The Thing at the Foot of the Bed, with his amazing co-host and a good friend of mine, Rhonda Harris. So you guys check that out at Sunday nights. I even have my alarm set for it every Sunday, but over the last month I've been super busy, but I have it set to remind me so I can pop in there. He's always got great things he's talking about and great guests. We got Michelle Plummer. She says, good evening, ladies. Julia Evans says, evening, everyone. And we appreciate you, Julia, hanging out with us. I know it's late over there. It's got to be about almost 11:30 p.m. over in the UK. So thank you. Let's see. I don't think we missed anybody else. So how are you doing, Julie?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh, God, obviously a little bit frazzled. I didn't think I was frazzled, but my mouth is not cooperating. You know what we're going to do right now, guys? We are going to start. I'll just do it. I'll take a minute. We're going to just start TikTok right now. So you're going to hear some pinging as I copy and paste. I don't know why it has to ping every time, but thank God I have a little bit of tech experience to figure this out, because I was heck bent on I was going to figure out how to do this, because you have to have special numbers and things to. Okay, are you done? Thank you. To get this going over on TikTok, and TikTok does not want to give it to you when it comes to adding it to our StreamYard, which we use. So let's see. Now I got to go over here. Give me a sec, guys. Couple buttons to push and then we'll be ready, I promise. TikTok, I think I'm the last one. So give me a sec. Make sure I don't have to click anything else. No, I think we're good. We'll see. Cross your fingers, guys. It has been working, so we'll see. It looks like it is. So I said to you, what do you want to talk about tonight? Because there's so much to talk about. Never mind that y'all, I guess I'll say in the United States, are celebrating Thanksgiving this Thursday. Am I right about that?
Yes.
We had it in Canada. You're going to say, can you send me some calming? You absolutely can, Mish. I would never say no to that. So thank you. She just asked that in the chat. I don't know why in Canada we don't celebrate Thanksgiving at the same time as our brothers and sisters in the United States. I mean, I know the stories are different, but still, because Canada's doing they're talking about your United States. And of course, they forget the reason behind the season of being grateful and thankful. And it's all about Black Friday sales. But that's not what Thanksgiving is about, obviously, is it?
No.
Mm-hmm. So I was saying to you before we got started, and you guys, we're just going to talk and see where the conversation goes tonight, because Julie wears many different hats. And a lot of people, I'm starting my first course in the new year sometime soon, I hope. Probably, I'm thinking February or March. But, a lot of people seem to be newly awakening to their path when it comes to following a spiritual path. And some of the things that I forget, I don't know about you, but I know in the beginning, it wasn't mentioned initially, but the practice of gratitude, I think, is so powerful. Don't you?
Most definitely. Most definitely. Especially if you do it like three things you're grateful for in the morning. Mm-hmm. It gives you a better day. And if you say 3 things you're grateful for before you go to bed, it clears out all that negativity from the day. And so when your subconscious is working on manifesting things, it'll manifest something more positive. So gratitude is amazing.
I don't know about you. I've run into people over the years, and this is with no judgment, but they'll say, I have nothing to be thankful for. My life is crap. There's nothing good about it. And the beauty and gratitude is, right? Like, did you wake up in a bed? Did you have a roof over your head? Were you able to have a cup of coffee or breakfast?
Absolutely.
Like just the little things, right?
Yeah. I'm during some of my darkest times, I was grateful for the tree outside.
You know what? That's powerful because a lot of people wouldn't think of that.
Yeah.
And
It can be anything.
go ahead.
I mean, it can be anything. And, that you've got food in the refrigerator, that you were able to pay this bill, even though you don't know where you're going to find the money for the next bill. But as long as you are expressing gratitude for the things you do have, the universe says, oh, she likes that. We're going to send her more. So
Exactly.
all of a sudden the money starts showing up, and, you start having better days, and start, meeting people that can help you, and that you can, offer you a job or something. You never know. Spirit works in mysterious ways.
I always say that to people too, especially with manifestation. I'm still working on the financial aspect. The other part of it's coming, but I know the issues behind hindering why I'm still working on that. But you're absolutely right, because I always say to people, and I know I've proved it to myself, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this when I finish this thought. When things do manifest and you look back and you think, holy cow, I was trying to manifest that. I couldn't have figured out in a gazillion years how it came to fruition, right? Because we can't figure it out because it happens in the most strangest of ways. Have you found that too?
Absolutely. And I manifested losing my muggle job.
Are you out of your muggle job?
Yeah,
I have not
I was
talked to
laid
you.
off a couple of weeks ago.
I did not know that.
And yeah, and I had wanted to be able to quit by the end of the year.
Mhm.
And I was doing this program on manifestation. And so one of my manifestations is I wanted to be able to quit this muggle job by the end of the year.
Mhm.
And well, spirit works in mysterious ways.
Mhm.
This muggle job was draining me. I had no energy. I was getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, working till
No.
3:30, and I was beat all the time. I mean, the weekends I had to recover, and so I wasn't getting anything done in my business and things like that. And so um, I walk in on Friday morning, and my my manager comes in early, and it's like, oh, you're here early. And then I was whisked into HR, and they say, we're going to have to let you go.
Oh no.
Apparently the business wasn't doing well, and a lot of people got laid off that day. But I looked at it as a blessing. Um, and when I looked at it later, it's like, hey, I manifested that. And spirit has something else. Whenever stuff like that happens, it's generally a blessing in disguise, because spirit generally has something better for you.
And people can't recognize that. Kathy, I'm just going to address you for a sec, sweetie. I am live on YouTube. I just double check because the only place we're having trouble right now is Roku. Roku is not playing nice. I know Julie may not be able to see it, but I can. I'm getting the exclamation point and then this big screen in front of me, but there's nothing I can do. Hello, Richard Minnick, and hello, Connie Martins. So I'm not sure. Maybe try and close the app and reopen it, because I just checked as Julie was talking, and we are live. I can see us on there, and my little your icon for Facebook says I'm live. So I'm not really sure. It's not working. We're supposed to be live. I didn't check you. Let me check while we're talking, then we'll pick up that conversation, Julie. Sorry, that's the
No
beauty
worries.
in live shows, right? Yeah, we are live on the Angel Rock with Lorilei Potvin. Let me check. It should let me know up here anyways if we're having problems.
And you are live on Instagram.
Yeah, and on UFO Paranormal and United that might be what we're live on there too. UFO Paranormal Radio. Actually, that's what it's called now. UFO Paranormal Radio, UFO Paranormal Radio. Yeah, we're live on both of those. So I'm not really sure why it's not working for you, hun, but I'm glad. You guys should always let me know if you can't see something, because they usually tell us when they can't see something. Like when I was trying to go live on TikTok before with the other little hacks I was using, that's why I would know right away. It would come up and say problem streaming. And so far, fingers crossed, it's been working. Okay, she found us. Good. Okay, I'm glad to hear that. So I did not know that, because that's why I don't bug you. Now I can talk to you. Well, not that I'm going to bug you all the time, but I can talk to you more often. But I knew you were getting up at 4 a.m. to go to work. But you know what I love about what you just said? You were wanting to manifest this. And the natural reaction for anybody that has a muggle job, as we call it, or 9 to 5 or a regular job, not doing the type of work that we've been doing on the side or working passionately towards, as you are, I am, many people I know in the conversation are, is a place, you jump to a place of fear. And then you jump to a place of why me, poor me, they're picking on me. And I just love your perspective on the way you looked at this. Do you have any other thoughts to share on that? Because I think that could help a lot of people.
You know, everything in divine timing. So obviously the end of the year was not divine timing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So Spirit has something better for me. I just got to figure out what it is.
Isn't that funny? Okay, so I'm not going to give out a lot, but I'm just going to say this. I had a previous guest that's been on here, Iona Mead. She talked about her vision board course that she does. Okay, and she sent it to me, and I'm signing up for it because it's working on manifesting financially. And I literally asked Spirit, who should I send it to? And I hadn't known what you were going through. So I hope you don't mind. I sent it to Julie, and I did not know. I just heard, oh, I'm getting goosebumps. I just heard from Spirit to send it to you. I'm laughing because I didn't know that you weren't in the muggle job.
Yeah, no, but you know, every time I've been laid off or something bad has happened,
Mm-hmm.
it's because I got too much in my comfort zone,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and Spirit had to shake things up.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a tower moment or whatever you want to call it, to get people out of their comfort zone to get back on their path.
Well, I know you've heard me say this to you many times off air, and I don't tell people this unless I mean it. I will say hi quickly to Rhonda Harris. I was just talking about you, Rhonda. All good. And Mark Foster's here, both saying hello. Is that you are so powerful at what you do, and I hold you in very high regard. And guys, the reason why I do, not only is Julie a friend of mine, you've heard me say it many times when she's supporting the show, and I always say I try to walk the walk of the talk that I'm doing. I have worked with Julie. I've been one of her clients. She has helped me with my animals. She has helped me personally. It was life-changing, the Shamanic Practitioner session that I had with her. And there, you know what? I would never tell people what their purpose is, but Julie, oh my gosh, you need to be doing this full time, because I know once people start finding out the work that you do, and working not only with animals, earthside, as well as the other side, and people, I know you can do that, but the Shamanic Practitioner work is incredible. I think it's going to spread like wildfire now that you have more time on your plate.
I hope so.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't want to get another muggle job. This is stuff I'm passionate about, and I love doing it. I love helping people. I love helping the animals. I really want to be doing it full time.
I
And
want to see you do it full time, because people, I've told this story before, but I'm going to tell it again. So I was having trouble with one of my animals, a cat. And I had asked a good friend of mine, and you're friends with her too, Leanne. Leanne's been on the show before. And I said, do you know anybody that's a really good animal communicator that you could recommend? And Leanne sent me a couple people, and I instantly was drawn to you. And I'm not kidding, guys. The work that Julie does is it's incredible. And we didn't know what we were going to do. Even before we talked live, she said, should I grab my tools? I said, well, let's do whatever you want to do. But maybe, you know where we'll go with this a little bit? How about this? I'm hearing this from Spirit. Why don't we explain what animal communication is for people that don't know? Because a lot of people don't think it's possible that animals have souls. And then what the shamanic practitioner work is, because they're two very powerful healing modalities, never mind the incredible wealth of knowledge you have pulling in even working with animals. How's that sound?
Wherever Spirit's leading us.
So how about for animal communication at first?
Animals communicate telepathically with each other, and everyone can communicate with animals. Most of us did it when we were little, but we shut it off because it was all in our imagination, and so people thought we were weird or whatever if we started talking to the animals.
Yeah.
But they have so much wisdom to share with us.
They do.
And they are here as our guides, as our teachers, as our healers. They are our catalysts. There's just so much that they can teach us. And so when you communicate with an animal telepathically, the easiest way is to just send them pictures. And, they generally don't like small talk, but if you ask them, what's your favorite toy? They're, well, it's a red ball, or something like that. But they'll show you a picture. And it all depends on what your gifts are, your spiritual senses, because some are more pronounced than others. Sometimes I just know. Sometimes they send me pictures. Sometimes I've even gotten songs from them when they wanted me to communicate it to their guardian.
I got taste, remember, with your stepmom's dog, and I'd known about this dog, but I didn't know what the dog looked like. He used every one of my senses. He was such an incredible dog, just such an incredible dog.
Is that Doc?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember in your course, remember we all sent pictures, and I had got Doc, but I didn't know it was Doc. And I remember, and I kept thinking, this is a weird taste in my mouth, and why is my arm hurt? Like, he used everything. Like, he was just such an incredible dog. And he was your mom's step dog, or a service dog, wasn't he?
Yes. Yes. And he's been a great teacher of mine. And he's still on my team.
I figured he would be. I figured.
And that's something else. Sometimes when they aren't feeling well, I will sense into their body and get into their energy field, and I will feel what they're feeling.
Should we are you comfortable sharing about Doc a little bit for people that might not know about Doc? Or
Sure. Okay. Doc was my stepmom's service dog. He was a cream golden retriever. He has he ended up getting bone cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And, whenever she was because my stepmom had lung cancer and was going to Houston every so often and taking Doc with her. And so I would always give him a little tune-up before and let him know that they were getting ready to go and he needed to be on his best behavior. And he always was. Mm-hmm. But then towards the end, he ended up getting bone cancer.
Aww.
And so I was able to, with my shamanic training, I did a shamanic session. I was able to adapt the shamanic sessions that we do on humans to animals. Mm-hmm. And I was able to help him feel better because he was having it was like in his right front shoulder. I was able to get him to quit limping. So he was pain-free for a while. And I also shifted his timeline because the vet, whenever a dog gets bone cancer, they at most get 2 months. I was able to extend that by shifting his timeline to his highest timeline to over 6 months. And she said, the vet was saying, this is a miracle. Your dog is a miracle dog, because they had never seen that before.
Can you explain to maybe some people that wouldn't understand shifting to their highest timeline? I'm going to say hi to Lisa Martinello here as well. Stevie. My cat's over there. I was talking to her. Sorry. I was going to see if she'll saunter over here to make an appearance, and she probably will. She usually does. But can you explain that to people? Because some people might not understand what that means.
Sure. Excuse me. I'm releasing energy right now.
That's
okay. Excuse me. Shamanism is based on Native American traditions and healing techniques. The ones I studied are from South America, the Andes, and I started with Alberto Villoldo, and now Joan Wilcox, Sandra Ingerman, all are great shamanic healers. But they have a way of doing energy medicine that is beyond anything I've ever seen before or felt before. Because, as students, we were practicing on each other. And for a while, I had lower back pain. That's gone now. Because one of my fellow students worked on me and got rid of a lot of limiting beliefs and stuck emotions and all sorts of things that I think most of mine was limiting beliefs, and it's gone now. But I was able to adapt the techniques that we use to animals. And then as far as the timeline goes, we all have multiple timelines that
like how long we're supposed to be Earthside, basically, right?
I'm sorry?
How long we're supposed to be Earthside, like that we sort of set aside as a soul before we incarnate for the amount.
Yeah, and they're depending on each decision we make, we can shift timelines, we can jump timelines. And so I just looked at the momentum tunnel with all the different timelines and asked them to show me his highest timeline for his greatest good. And then one highlighted. And so I was able to jump him over to that one timeline.
But he was in agreement, though, too, right, Julie? Like, that's not something, because people might think that's something you did. No. You guys worked together, and he agreed, right?
Yes, I was working with his higher self the whole time.
People are, I want to say hi to Jackie Lane. She says, hello, everyone. And Connie Martin says, wow, you can change a sick animal's timeline. And then she says, so jumping timelines is a real thing. And we're going to say hi to Michael Angley, who's part of the network. So hi, Michael. Thanks for popping in. Yes. So Connie, you guys don't get to hear Julie when she's in the audience. I'm telling you, she's going to blow your mind with some of the stuff she can do. So when you shifted his timeline, and he was in agreement, how does that work? What does that look like for somebody? Say that they're getting into this healing field and they're able to communicate with their animal. How does that conversation sort of go? You don't have to put it word for word, but say somebody working with the higher self or oversoul, say with an animal, what does that look like?
Well, I'm just basically asking permission if he would like to be on his highest timeline. And when he agreed, I started looking at what they call the momentum tunnel, where all the different timelines are just kind of there.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's some that are, kind of along the same path, but then there's some outliers. And
Right.
so one of the outliers highlighted up. Now, I can't guarantee that I can do this for every animal
Mm-hmm.
that comes to me, but if I can, why not give a little extra time for the animal and the guardian to spend together quality time?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, eventually he did get really bad and she did have to put him down, but she was thankful and grateful that they had that extra time together.
Oh, absolutely. Now we have a question from Mish. Oh, I'll read Kevin's comment first. He says the entire jumping timelines might explain the Mandela effect in some cases. He says. And then Mish is asking, do you ever bring a timeline forward? Or she reworded it and said, or is there ever a reason to bring a timeline forward?
And what do you mean by bringing it forward?
I'll wait till she types it. Because I'm not really sure, because so if I understand you correctly, which I think I do, like you said, going through the momentum tunnel, there's many different timelines, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the one that would have been most beneficial to his purpose being here, Doc, as well as his mom, for lack of a better word, and serving the greatest good, right? And
Right.
it was one that lit up and he agreed to it. And so you crossed it. So asking, that would have been a reason to bring the timeline forward, right? Because it was an agreement with him, as well as it was serving your stepmom's purpose as well. Or would there be any other reasons? I guess maybe she's asking why you would bring a timeline forward.
Or are you talking about like if there's something you're trying to manifest and trying to bring it in forward?
That's a good one. Yeah.
Bringing it closer in.
Okay, so Mish is saying like you're extending a timeline backwards for extra time. I would think forward. So you're picking the longer timeline. She's asking if you like say you're only supposed to be, well, we could use Doc, whether it's humans or people, right? He was only supposed to, the usual timeline for an animal with that kind of diagnosis would have been 2 months. But there was a reason to extend the timeline, but the animal would have to be in agreement, or the other person. Okay, so tell me if I'm wrong about this, Mish. When I'm feeling you're asking, would there be a reason to extend it? If you're, like you said, Julie, maybe to manifest something, or?
That's the only thing I can think of to bring something forward. But whatever it is, if you're put on your highest timeline, I would think if you're trying to manifest something, that would bring it forward too. It just depends on, the decisions that you make shift the timeline, causes you to, like getting out of your comfort zone. That shifted my timeline.
Yeah, because you skipped a bunch of, for lack of a better word, crap that you didn't really need to go through, right? So you shifted your timeline by shifting, you said, limiting beliefs, or relieving those limiting beliefs.
And like getting out of your comfort zone. Whenever you make a decision to get out of your comfort zone, you get new opportunities, you meet new people, you get new experiences. And all of that shifts your timeline. But I was able to manually shift it with his consent and with the spirits I was working with. I was able to shift it to a better timeline, so there was a better outcome for him.
Okay. So Miss, she's apologizing. Don't apologize. She said, don't worry, I can't word it correctly. And that's okay. Cause Kevin even added, I'm going to go back up to Nicole's comment. He says they're calling upon a timeline where you would follow a particular path, maybe. That's the thing, right? I kind of am trying to understand what you're asking, Michelle. I hear, but it's like on the tip of my tongue.
And whenever we're doing like the highest timeline, that's for the highest timeline for all concerned. So
yeah, that's what I was trying to say. You said it beautifully. So it wasn't just for Doc, for example, and your mom, obviously the two of them, but for everybody all concerned, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. So Nicole Thomas Ryan, hi Nicole. She says, I was so thankful, Julie. You helped my friend's pets when her husband died suddenly. Also, you helped her with 2 of her cats. She says you're so incredible. And she is.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Nicole.
She is, absolutely.
Glad I was able to be of service and help you.
You have helped. I'm going to bring this little Bradican over here because she usually shows up. Now, this is the bane of my existence. Miss Stephen Nicole. You haven't met Miss Stephen Nicole. But this, here, I'll take my light off for a sec. Now you can see her. She's absolutely gorgeous. She's a brat. If there's trouble, she's in it. She doesn't go to anybody but me and my son Justin, who you have met, my youngest. And she's highly intelligent, aren't you? Because she has learned, she's addicted. Have you guys ever seen that cat commercial with the Temptations cat treats? Not sponsored, but it literally, you shake them and she'll come running. But as she knocked my light off. But the problem with her is she then tries to go on the fridge. I have everything booby trapped up there so she can't get them. Because what she will do is she will swipe everything and rearrange and then go boom and knock the whole thing of treats on the floor so she can have a feast. So, but she's, oh, thank you, Kevin. Everybody's going, oh, so cute. Thank you. She is cute, but she's lucky she's cute because she is naughty. And Miss Stephen, I'm going to just pull this out here. We'll see what happens with it. I know the reason why, but she does not like to use her litter box. Doesn't matter if it could be scrupulously clean. She has been like this since a kitten. And I know why, but I was talking to you about this before. And I'm sure lots of people, because I know you've talked about this before, a lot of people come to you because they're animals because of behavioral issues. Not always, but that's a big one, right?
Right. But when a cat doesn't use the litter box, the first thing to do is get a vet visit because often they have crystals or they're having a UTI, and it's the only way they can express to you that there's something wrong.
It's both. It's not just number one.
But whenever they don't use the litter box, it's a cry for help. It's saying, hey, something's wrong. Pay attention to me. So the first thing to do is check with a vet, make sure that there's nothing physically wrong with them. The next thing is, either they don't like the litter, they don't like the litter box, they don't like where the litter box is, because whenever they are using the litter box, they're most vulnerable. They don't feel safe, they aren't going to go there. But in your case, this is the one that was going on the bed, right?
No. The bed thing is stopped. Okay. I had one that would go on the bed and only every now and then. And my son had figured it out all along, and Julie just confirmed it. And I further confirmed what the issue is. When my youngest son with autism plays a video game, and one particular series he gets very angry with, very angry. He has a 5-point rating scale he's been taught because he doesn't always have the words for emotions. So when he is at a 5, he is in pure rage. He's not breaking things, but he's yelling and he's having a major conniption. That is when that happens. And we've discovered that any attention is better than no attention. So if my son isn't settling down, guess who does something on his bed, because it pulls him away out of that and over to that's exact. But you nailed it in the beginning, because he's playing his games and he's not, and she's so bonded to him. And on top, oh, go ahead.
And the other thing was that he was locking her out of his
I
room
was just going to say that. I was just going to say that. Just read my
that's
words.
when she is there healing him.
Guess what?
She wanted to be in the bedroom at night so that she could heal him.
So we have worded that. We have figured that out. And I was able to explain that in terms he could understand. And yeah, no problems. So this little one, and I've been trying to communicate, just so you guys know, I work on it, but it is, and Julie, you taught us in your class, because Leslie 1266 said this. If you ever have a chance to take a class with Julie, it is worth it. I second that. Practical exercises and in-depth meditations helped her so much. Awesome. But it is harder to communicate with your own animals, is what I learned in your class, just because we know them so well, right?
Yeah, and your energy fields intersect. And so sometimes it's hard to tell what's yours, what's your thoughts, or what's theirs. And so you're always thinking, oh, that's just my imagination. That's just me thinking that. But you just need to trust yourself, because often it is your animal trying to communicate with you.
It is. And a lot of us do communicate with our own animals, and we don't realize it. Think about it, guys. Say your pet's water bowl is empty. You had a busy morning. For some reason, you forgot to fill it. All of a sudden, your pet comes to you, and you know instantly, oh, gosh, they need a drink of water. Oh, they want this. Oh, they want that. Oh, they want this. Because you're able to communicate. And it's our birthright, isn't it, Julie?
Absolutely.
To communicate.
Everyone can communicate with their animals. You just need to trust what you're getting.
Yes, because I kept saying I couldn't do it, and yet psychic mediumship, no problem, right? And I was getting in my own way, and I was the first one to admit it.
And then you talked to that bear, and that's when you had that major breakthrough.
I'm trying to remember that now. You'll have to give them more details, because so much happened that day. There was a bear. Oh, we had a journey, right? We had a journey, like a meditation, right?
This was the bear that was out. I guess your son had brought it to your attention. And
oh, no. I know what it was. Okay, now I remember. Okay. So my eldest son has a home on the other side with his fiance, and he sends me a message and says, Mom, look at this bear. And I'm going, oh, that's a pretty young bear. He goes, well, it's not that small. I said, no, it looks like it's barely a year old. And I messaged Julie, and you're right. I did communicate with him, because we were trying to figure out a way to tell him where he could go, because you could tell he was lost and whatever. You are right. That's when they had the breakthrough. You are right. So Nicole's got a comment. Thank you for reminding me, because I'm thinking bear, because we did have meditations during your class. I had so many breakthroughs in that class. So did everybody else. Nicole Thomas Ryan says, my cat wakes me at 3 a.m. nightly, and Julie told me someone was coming to visit me and having the cat wake me up. After months now, I told my tiny cat, thank you, but she won't have to wake me up when they come to call. She still wakes me, and I wish my visitors would tell me what they need. You got any feedback for her on that at all, Julie?
What was your cat's name again?
I think Tiny. Is it Tiny? She put that cap. I told my tiny cat. Well, I'll let her write it just in case I got that wrong. Let's see. I don't want to interrupt your connection there. It is Tiny. It is Tiny.
Let me connect in real quick.
No worries.
Now she's doing it because it's fun.
I'm laughing because
let's wake mommy up.
Yeah, let's wake mommy up. Yeah. And then mommy's awake because she's trying to figure out who's here, and there's nobody here, but now she's awake. Nicole says, I thought so.
Yeah. She thinks it's time to get up and play, and she wants attention.
Well, because cats are naturally nocturnal too, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We have another question for you. I'm going to say hi to William over on Instagram. Thanks for joining us. Now, I got something instantly from this, but you see what you get, Julie. Mish says, my cat has started licking my feet. I hate it. I ask her to stop, and she isn't licking anyone else's feet, but only Mish's. I got a message instantly. I don't know what you're going to pick up, but I did.
What's your cat's name?
She'll type it in here. Do you want me to share while we're waiting for her to type it, what I picked up? Or do you want me to wait till you connect in, Julie?
I don't want to be biased.
Okay. Mish says Kiana. So Chiana. Yes, that's why I asked you first. Less is more.
Just trying to tap into her.
If you need a picture, people can certainly send them to me or you if you need a picture even.
She's detecting a change in your feet, like a change in energy, and she's trying to heal you. So do you have something going on with your feet? Like maybe maybe a change in the circulation? Or I may be getting like swollen, like maybe you've had too much salt and you're getting a little swelling down there. What'd you get?
Instantly that something has changed biochemistry wise in Michelle's body, and that the cat is sensing that, and it might be worthwhile. She said she was bitten by a bee on her toe. Is that the same foot she's licking, Mish? Because I got that something in your, actually, believe it or not, your sweat has changed, and the cat is detecting that. Again, trying to heal you, but also giving you the message that you may, I don't know if you've been to the doctors. I don't think it's anything dramatic, but just maybe get your blood work checked at the doctors. I'm picking up biochemistry.
Yeah, me too. Something shifted in her energy or her biochemistry.
Yeah, I didn't want to. I knew you were going to pick it up, Julie, because everything I'm about to say to you, you've been picking it up like right away. Hi, Jody Cross. She says, hello, gorgeous. She's over in Australia too. We got a couple Australians here tonight. Well, morning for you, Tuesday morning. Hello and welcome. Yeah, so I would get it checked. Because that's
can't hurt.
Sorry?
Definitely can't hurt.
Yeah. So I don't diagnose here, but I'm even feeling something in the way of your sugar. So I'm not saying you're diabetic, but there's something biochemistry wise. She says, okay, thanks. Interesting. Getting bitten by a bee is a change of sorts. It could be. But I don't think she's picking that up. I almost feel like it's because we sweat from our feet, believe it or not, we do. And yeah, I feel like she's picking that up on you. Oh, you know who I didn't get a chance to say hello to, and I'm sorry. Hi, Michelle Wilfong. You guys, she's my mod over on TikTok. She's amazing. Please check out her TikTok. She has a haunting at her house, at her apartment building where she lives, and documents some pretty incredible stuff on TikTok. So please check her out. Yeah, that's what I was picking up. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. You have to let us know if you're comfortable with it. See, Kathy's got everybody's going to start asking Julie. You do this for free, though, on some pages on Facebook, too. Though.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So, Kathy handling
keep getting spam calls.
See, I told you.
Yeah, you told me.
That's okay. So she disappears. We decided rather than getting really technical, she just will disappear for a minute to take them away. Michelle Wilfong says thank you. Mish says thanks. So Kathy Henley Little, my dog Quinn is always staring at me. Do you know why? I do. I'm not trying to put pressure on Julie because I know Julie will pick it, even if she picks up something different. Believe me, I just heard it like right away. I don't know why. I'm guessing.
First of all, she loves you very much.
Mm-hmm.
And she wants attention. What else do you? I think she's trying to communicate with you.
I got that too. Yep, absolutely. And Julie's the master here, by the way. I'm the student, so trust what Julie's getting.
She's going, can't you hear me, Mom?
Mm-hmm.
Can't you hear me?
This is kind of a cheat on my part because it's something I know about Kathy.
I do believe you are an animal communicator, Kathy. And your dog is trying to pull that out of you and trying to get you to remember that you are an animal communicator. But she's definitely saying, can't you hear me, Mommy?
You let me know when you want me to, when I can add.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I also feel, as I got animal hair in my mouth, that Quinn is sensing your hubby with you, behind you, beside you, because I think he's there a lot to offer comfort. I agree 100% absolutely with what Julie said too. That was a big one for me, that Quinn is definitely trying to send you the message exactly what I heard that too, Julie. Can you hear me? But I also feel too, I don't know if Quinn was alive or with you when your hubby was alive, but either Quinn knows your hubby, whether soul form or maybe human form as well. But I think that's part of it as well. Never mind exactly. She loves her mom, obviously, a lot. Mm-hmm. I think hubby's nearby. Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sensing hubby around too, or a male figure. I'm assuming it's hubby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think Kathy, and I've never met Kathy in person, but gotten to know her from the shows and stuff. She goes, wow, I just got chills. She says, I am crying and laughing at the same time. Aw, that's so beautiful. Yeah, because I don't know why, but that's why I said it was cheating, because I'd known that Kathy's husband is on the other side right now.
I'm so sorry, Kathy. Sending you so much love, prayers, and healing light. I know it's difficult.
But I agree. Number one is she's going, can't you hear me, Mom? You can almost see those eyes, eh, Julie? Just looking like if you could only understand or hear me. So that's so cool. So you guys, if you do, I hope you're okay with that, Julie, if people do want to ask some questions.
Sure.
If you do, because it's easier if you have a picture, right? You don't always need one, but it's easier, right?
In the beginning, when I was doing animal communication, I used to always request a picture so I could see the eyes, because I can get so much just by looking at their eyes. But with experience, I don't need the pictures.
I didn't think so, right? I used to do that all the time with mediumship, and I still do. If someone has a picture, but as we do it more and more, right? You start to know what that energy feels like and to connect to it. Because I have to say this, I don't know why Spirit keeps reminding me, with Doc, he always kept showing up, and I know he's not a German Shepherd, but he always looked like a light colored German Shepherd to me. Like his energy was presenting that way. Maybe the loyalty and the intelligence. I don't know, but
Well, he was a
like I know.
golden retriever.
Yes, I know. Isn't that weird? So with shamanic practitioner, can you let people know as well, like what's in, because you do pull in, like you blew my mind, because when Julie does a session with your animal, never mind with the communication, but the amount of healing that you pull in and from many different modalities. Like I remember the Bach flower remedies with Sophie, and there was chakra work, there was all kinds of stuff that you did with her. So it's pretty powerful, the healing. And I had a session with you, and you guys, it was life-changing.
Now most of the energy work I do on animals is not the shamanic. It's energy work I learned from one of my teachers.
I'm sorry.
That's why I chose this teacher, is because she taught the healing aspects too.
Sorry, I misrepresented, but I meant you pull in so many different modalities. I should have
I've got a lot of tools in my
because you don't do shamanic work in the way that you would with the human, with animals. I misrepresented it.
I generally will do my normal, because I've got like a checklist that I go through. It goes through brain integration, which is balancing the right and left hand sides of the brain. I do the physical, emotional, and spiritual healing. I'll ground them. I'll put them in a bubble of light. I'll do brain integration. And all of this is based on what their higher self wants me to do. I don't do anything other than what their higher self wants me to do for a particular issue. I'll give flower essences. Each one has a particular purpose. I'll give crystals. I'll give colors. I'll go through the chakras. I'll also look for things like microbes. I'll also ask about their diet, because often I find that they've got a sensitivity to something. Their exercise, their relationships, things like that. And then we'll do the emotions. I'll go through the meridians. Meridians are one of the at least 9 different power energy systems of the body, and release emotions from all the meridians. And then on the spiritual side, I go through all their chakras. Animals actually have 9 major chakras, whereas humans have 7 within their body. And then the major chakras are like the coarse dial and an old-fashioned radio. And so we'll do all those. And then there's minor chakras that are for the fine tuning. And each chakra, for instance, if an animal had a stomach issue, there's an animal essence that I would give. It's Digest Ease. I would balance the stomach, or I would release emotions from the stomach meridian. I would also balance the solar plexus chakra, because the solar plexus provides energy to the stomach area. And then I would also do the minor chakra, the digestive chakra. And after that, the animal's usually feeling better.
She does a lot. That's where I was trying to say. And I thought, I'm glad you clarified, because it's just that you have such a well-rounded arena when it comes to your healing toolkit. And that's where I was trying to go. You said it much better than I did, but you really do deal with not just the mind, body, soul. There's spiritual. There's like you pull so much stuff.
And after I do this routine set of things, then I'll ask if they need additional healing. And sometimes they'll say, no, I'm good. Sometimes they'll say yes. And so I'll go through my other tools. I can cut cords on them, because sometimes they have something to a past life. Often, some of these animals have PTSD just like humans do. And when you cut that cord and release them from that past life, those issues go away. Sometimes they'll have a miasm, which is ancestral energy that's affecting their daily life. It can be to like vaccines, or it can be like to a skin condition. I'll often call in the archangels, see if they want me to invoke the archangels. But yeah, I've got so many tools in my tool belt. I just do whatever their higher self wants me to do.
That's why I wanted to bring that up, because I've not seen, and I've met other animal communicators, and I'm not saying, dissing anybody or saying something that's, everybody's called to the work that they do, and they meet the people they're meant to work with and animals. But with yourself, I just found with the wealth of knowledge that you have and the tools in your toolkit. And I can speak from experience, you guys. That's why I always call Julie out, because I want to see her be so busy too. It's instant. It is instant. I can tell you with she helped me with Emmy, with my dog. And I remember that was a crazy one. We don't have to talk about it if you don't watch it, but it was crazy what had happened. But I literally felt like someone had switched my dog overnight. Like, she still looked the same. It was insane. But before we get into that, I'm just going to read a few comments here. We've got Kathy Henley Little said, I just told her, so Quinn, I will try to listen. Quinn has one blue eye and one brown eye. I always said there is a human in the brown eye and the wolf in the other. She's a husky. Ooh, sounds like a beautiful dog. We have a couple questions. So Connie's asking, can we reach out to talk to a deceased pet, or do they come to you when they want?
You can reach out. I'm a pet medium as well. So I talk to animals, whether they're living or they're deceased.
She also has another question. Do you ever call St. Francis the saint of all animals? I only ask because you said you call the archangels sometimes.
I call in St. Francis often as well.
There you go. And Mish says, archangels for animals, are they the same as we call on for us? For example, like Archangel Michael, or do they have different archangels?
They have a lot of the same archangels. Archangel Ariel is also.
I was going to say that. That's who I call on always.
Animals. She's more in tune with the wild animals, though, but she also helps with the domestic animals as well.
The beauty in working with angels, in my experience, has been you don't always have to call on a specific angel to come in. If you said, but for people listening, I know you're going to agree, you can call on the angel that is needed in that situation, and you can trust that the right angel will be there, or archangel, whomever you may need in that time of need will show up. Right, Julie?
Yes, or you can call an Archangel Michael, because he's kind of oversees all the angels.
Yes.
And he will designate one for you.
It's kind of like the beauty of crystals. Like I always say to people, you don't need to go out and buy 100 gazillion crystals, because my belief is that
I want crystals.
Well, we all do. Didn't you see the last thing came up in my intro of something about if I buy another crystal, is it called hoarding or something to that effect? Okay, I get it. But for people just starting out, you could just get a clear quartz and set the intention of I require, or I ask for the energy of the crystal needed in this situation, because quartz is pretty cool that way. It can embody the energy, I've been taught, and I believe, of any crystal, and it also can cleanse any crystal too.
And clear quartz is one of the few ones that's programmable.
Yes, thank you. Yes. Oh, Mish says, need to buy every crystal. LOL. So with Emmy, I don't know how comfortable you are with going into that, but my dog, I felt like she had been switched overnight. She could not stop whining and crying and pacing, and she wasn't hurt. She wasn't in pain. And I didn't know what to do. And I remember you saying to me, And I'm probably not going to say it as beautifully as you had, but you said something to the effect you had not met. Was it an animal that was so connected to, was it the universal consciousness or something to that effect? I
Yeah, the
remember.
universal consciousness, because she was detecting.
You have to be careful with the word we use, but we can use the word pew pew or whatever if we're going to talk about it. But
that there was going to be an incident,
catastrophic
incident, and it had, and she was worried about
my eldest son.
your son. And I think you told your son not to go out that day.
Yeah, I did tell my son, and there was actually an incident that didn't involve quite a pew pew, but a dangerous, we'll say, instrument. And there were people that were hurt. And he quite likely would have been at the place where this had happened. And Emmy did settle down because she had told you about 7:30, 8 o'clock. I think it was the Sunday night. And she indeed did settle right down. But my dog, I'd never like, you could hear her, right, Julie? Because I always voicemail or message, and you could hear her. Like, she was just whining, and then she'd stop, and then she'd whine, and she'd whine, and she'd whine, and she'd cry. And I sent pictures of her, and you could just see, like, she just looked like the weight of the world was on her shoulders, basically.
Yeah, she was very worried. Especially about your son. She was worried about the environment and people getting hurt.
Yeah, not just my son, everybody she was worried about.
But she was more concerned with your son because they have quite a bond.
Well, she picked him out, and we had lost our first German Shepherd. I always had little dogs. And so my partner, Dell, never wanted another dog again. I always had little dogs till we had gotten Shiloh, our first Shepherd. And my eldest son had said, I have a friend that's had German Shepherd puppies. Do you want to go have a look? So we did. And there were 13 puppies and the mom and the dad, and they had another shepherd and everything. Miss Emmy wanted nothing to do with me. She was all about my eldest son. And so I remember whispering in her ear, that's okay, soon you'll be mine. She's so bonded with me now, but she is very bonded with my eldest son.
Yeah. I could tell.
And the thing is, you guys, and the reason why I'm sharing this with you, these are true life things that have just happened with the pets I own. Like, imagine, right? And so Emmy did pick up, she calmed right down too. Never saw that again. I can tell you, I've said this before, even when she was a pup before we moved out of our old home. So she hadn't really understood. She picked up on it, but she wasn't quite the way she is now. But if there is something, because from time to time, I will still get paranormal things here every now and then. I know how to cleanse it. I know how to clear it. I even have somebody that's completely objective. If I still wasn't quite sure, could call on them and have them take a quick look around. I'm very grateful for them. But the reason why I know if I have activity is by Emmy. And you guys have seen her a lot. She comes up. She's always with me. She's at the foot of my bed right now. And that little munchkin I just showed you, those two always know by their behavior or what they're doing. There's something here, especially Emmy, though. Emmy will tell me very loudly that there's something here. But that's the beauty of our animals.
Animals are very intuitive.
So we were starting to talk about your shamanic practitioner work, because I think that's something very powerful that you do as well, Julie. So could you talk a little bit more about it in the way of, like, why would someone want to come to see a shamanic practitioner?
Oh gosh, so many issues.
I know.
It helps with pains in the body. It helps with releasing limiting beliefs. It helps with cutting cords from either institutions or people in your past. Sometimes you have residual energy in your body that's from like a past life, where it's basically called an extraction. It's basically psychic surgery, where I go in and remove whatever it is, and it's generally how you were killed in a previous life. And when I do that, generally the pain goes away. Because say somebody had pain in their knee, you know, I go in and do an extraction and remove, you know, one time I removed shards of glass from somebody.
Oh, wow.
And after that, their knee was fine. And also I can, a lot of times when we're traumatized, when we're kids.
You're reading my mind, Julie. I was just going to ask you about this.
A piece of our soul breaks off and goes to the underworld. And no, the underworld is not hell. The shamans believe in a lower world, a middle world, which we're on now, and an upper world. So I would go to the underworld on your behalf using a shamanic journey.
You did it for me. You did it for me in my session, and I have no problem being open about it. Julie, by the way, literally is reading my mind because I was just about to bring this up about soul retrieval. So go ahead. Feel free to
there's like 4 chambers I go to. First is the chamber of wounds, where I see what the original wound was. The next one is the chamber of grace, where I ask if it's okay, if the soul pace is ready to come back. Then there's the chamber of contracts, where whenever you were traumatized, you signed this ridiculous contract. Like one of mine was, I am always afraid. Well, I got rid of that contract a long time ago.
It didn't serve you, did it?
No. But you get to rewrite your contract to something you can live with. But I'll bring back your contract. And then also there's a chamber of treasures, where I bring back a gift that will help you along your journey or along your path. And then somewhere along the way, there's a power animal that comes back with us. And then there's it's very powerful, because I bring back the gift, I bring back the soul piece, and I bring back the power animal. And so basically after that, we do an exercise where you basically embody that say the soul piece, and you get to ask it questions. And it's like you're channeling from that soul piece. And some of the stuff that comes out is just mind-blowing.
But I'm going to use my example because I couldn't do it at that time. It was something very traumatic. I know from my childhood. And I remember my session that my soul piece wasn't even sure it would be able to come back, that it would feel safe enough. And it was something that, like I said, I needed a couple of days to process, and then we finished it. Do you remember that, Julie? Like I couldn't do it in the time, and that was okay.
Right. And there are if you don't want to do it at that time, there's other ways you can ask the questions. And then when the piece comes back, I blow it into one of your chakras. And then you hold up a representative object, and it can be anything. It can be a pen, it can be a flashlight, whatever. And so that soul piece goes into this object. And so you write the questions down you want to ask, and when you pick it up, you start writing the answers. So there's other ways to do it, rather than verbally channeling the responses. But it is very powerful. And there's something I can do similar to that for like dream interpretation, because everyone's dreams are very personal. And so you just take a few different aspects of the dream and you put it into an object, and then you channel based on that object or that piece of the dream. And it's very powerful.
It is really powerful. And I'm due for another session, you guys. I am, and I've been thinking about that. I'm hearing it from my guides. Your guides don't ever tell you what to do, but I know that I'm ready. But I can tell you from having that session, and I can't speak for everybody's experience, but I can tell you that what it helped me do was process what had happened. And I was able to, instead of hanging on to what had happened to me as a child, I was actually, and I'm so grateful for this, able to look at the situation of what was done to me by the person that had done it, but see them from who they are on the other side as a soul, and why it had happened, and what to take from it, from learning. And I also, over the last few months, it's almost unlocked for me too. I never realized this till before, but I have problems trusting people. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't run around being suspicious all the time, and I'm very open, but I do. I have trouble letting people into my really inner circle, but I know why now. Like, it really was like unlocking one layer, or a couple layers, if you will. That's why I know for myself that I could certainly benefit from having more than one session with you. But I'm telling you guys, it is powerful. Connie just said, Julie, will you be doing this full time now? Do you have a website? She sure does. You want to tell them, Julie?
I do have a website, but it hasn't been updated with my shamanic work on it yet. The best way to do that is through my Facebook business page, which is facebook.com/J Bassett, animal communicator.
Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, you guys, and now that she's full time, because, and again, I wouldn't be telling, we've become friends, but I'm telling you from my own personal experiences. And I've had people say to me before too, well, if you do healing work and you're a healer, why do you need to see another healer? And I always say, I think it takes a great amount of courage to step up and recognize within yourself that I need some help with this. And with that courage, it's pretty different. I know it would be for myself. Maybe some people could do it, but I find it's easier to call in somebody who's objective, whose work, like this is something you're
Objective.
professional at and you're objective, versus myself, right? I just find it much easier. And so that I have no problem seeing other healers, and I use my gifts to work with other people too for healing. But I think we could all use some aspect of healing, don't you, Julie?
Absolutely. I go to other healers all the
Yeah.
time because
Mhm.
there's a lot of things that I need help with that I don't feel like I can do it on my own. That
Or
I
be
need.
able to see it holistically, like from all
Right.
sides, right? When we're right smack in the middle versus somebody objective on the outside can see it.
Absolutely. And like I said, told you before, if you want to exchange services,
Mhm.
I'm open for that.
And we will be, I promise. I will, because I've been hearing from my own guides that it's time now. It's time if you're
Um,
ready. Mhm.
and for anybody else on the feed that is interested in a session, I'm going to be offering some discounts probably over like the Black Friday weekend.
Mhm.
Um, and I do have gift certificates and things like that as well. So
Mhm.
um, check out my Facebook business page. I will be posting that on there, or my Instagram, which is at Julie Jeanne Bassett.
I've
Um,
also put your website everywhere. And when a few times I don't get to, but most times I put out a banner everywhere. So it's on I've tagged you on Instagram. I've tagged you on YouTube. It's on LinkedIn. It's on TikTok. Everywhere. It's in groups on here. It is on pages, because I try to do that with my guests, because I'm always grateful when somebody comes for 2 hours to share your expertise and your knowledge base with not just myself, but everybody that's listening. Connie says, I think it makes sense to go to other healers. I do too. And go ahead,
and,
sorry.
and sometimes, if like you're a Reiki healer, you've gotten all that Reiki energy, but sometimes you need some other type of energy healing.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And Leslie 1266 says, healers need healing as much as others, although I do believe we are all healers in our own way. 100%.
Absolutely.
100% agree. And Jackie says, we are all on a healing journey in our life. I agree. Absolutely. So, well, that's kind of cool that you're going to be offering discounts on Black Friday and stuff. That's awesome. Because you just had another animal communication course, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And how did that go?
It went great.
Yes.
It
So are
was
you going to
great.
be doing a new one too? More people are going to be asking, I'm sure, in the new year sometime.
It's probably going to be in the new year because with the
Mhm.
holidays, it's so hectic. I don't think anybody's going to have time for
Yeah,
a
that's what I
course.
was going to do. It my course was going to be before Christmas, and I thought nobody's got money for that right now. And then I thought, no, I think it'll probably be. I It looks like it may be at the beginning of March. We'll see. End of February, beginning of March. I have the whole course outline. It's just putting it in a space. I want to find like been looking at some of the classroom spaces that they have in a Facebook group and what have you. Leslie 1266 says, I enjoyed the class immensely. I will second it because I took it, well, I think it was about 6 months ago. It's awesome. Mish
Thank
said,
y'all.
we bring different energies out in each other. Yes, we do. Absolutely.
And even if you don't think you're a healer, if you are just kind to somebody, that's healing them as well. You can just be present somewhere and your energy can heal their energy.
Or holding space for people, or for example, somebody that lives in my neighborhood that I've gotten to know very quickly, they've been diagnosed as terminally ill, and the family's having a very difficult time, and rightfully so. And sometimes you just need someone to listen, right? Or, some medical terms maybe they might need some help with or whatever. And I'm not sharing this because I'm not trying to say, oh, look at me, look what I'm doing. What I'm saying is even that is healing, to hold
Yeah,
that space or to listen or just provide that kind of support, right?
absolutely.
Actually, Mish says a smile or a hello goes a long way.
Absolutely.
And Leslie says you may be the calm energy in a chaotic space. Mm-hmm.
Most definitely.
Artwork, music, you're teaching a skill that you have to somebody else, or you're coaching, say a little league team or a volleyball team or whatever. I think when we use our gifts that we've been blessed with, whatever that might be, we all have different gifts, and you share that with someone that is willing to receive or open to it. I think that's healing, don't you?
Most definitely. And I do have a special going on for healers because I know healers a lot of times don't have a whole lot of money.
True.
Um, it's kind of pay what you can type of thing,
Aw.
more like on a donation basis. So,
I love that. Or a lot of times, those of us in this field, we will trade services. A lot of
right.
people do that because, right, it's we call equal energy exchange. Most of us in this line of work aren't doing it to make money, right? We're doing what we love, doing what we feel we've been called to be part of our mission, if you will, or journey here. But you're you're not doing it to make tons and tons of money. I mean, if you do, great, but that's not why we're doing it.
Yeah, but sometimes you do need to pay the bills.
I agree. Definitely. Oh, Mish says, here you go, you little monkey. I knew you were going to come back. This is Miss Steven back here looking for trouble. She says, I'm a swan gliding on water. Meanwhile, my legs are going 1,000 miles an hour. Yeah, that's me lots of times too.
I hear you, Mish.
So I'm hearing this from spirit. Can we talk a little bit about why our animals, because I always say we don't always get the pet that we want. We get the pet that we need. So how animals work as our guides here and our healers.
Um,
Hello.
well, you've heard about the cat distribution system, right?
No, I don't think I have.
That's where a cat picks you.
Yes, I have. I've seen it so many times. Yes. Don't eat mouse.
They'll come running up to you and crawl up your leg, and it's like you have a cat, or you leave the door open and a cat just wanders in and plops down on the couch and
Mm-hmm.
says, "I'm home."
How many people have you run into that said, I didn't want a cat?
Or a dog.
Yep.
But yeah, a lot of times, you're healing each other, especially if you get like a shelter pet. They've been disappointed by humans. And so they need to build trust in humans, and you need the healing. They're very good if you've lost a pet, and if you've lost a pet and you get a new pet, that doesn't diminish the love you had for that other pet. Your hearts are so big that you have room enough for both. And I've been told that by many pets when they pass and their owners are grieving, or their guardians are grieving. They say, open your heart up to another. Your heart is big enough for both of us.
I say that always. It's never replacing your pet, but nothing can heal a heart broken that way, I feel, than exactly what you just said, opening your heart up to another animal for you to share that love.
Right. And that helps both of you. It helps the animal because it, especially get a shelter pet, because it takes space that another pet or another animal can take. And there's so many homeless animals out there.
So many. There was this beautiful German Shepherd that was advertised in one of the lost pet groups in my city. And I was thinking of one of my neighbors because he lost his German Shepherd. She'd gone to the Rainbow Bridge, as we call it. She was older, but he has a second dog that's 2 years old, and her name's Mary. And I kept thinking of him. I didn't see him till 2 days later, and I'm not sure. I haven't seen him since, if they were able to track this poor little girl down, but looked like a purebred German Shepherd. And this person that had taken her in, I guess she was working out of town the next day, so she had to bring the pet somewhere. And this dog was one of the most beautiful dogs. It blended right in with her family. It was well behaved and would have missed all the puppyhood, of course. But sometimes, you know what, especially if you're working full time, you may not have the time to go through the baby years, right? So what better animal than somebody that, like, this is a young dog, but well behaved, well mannered, and trained already.
Nothing wrong with that.
Connie says, Lorilei, your beautiful cat reminds me of my deceased cat, Tiger. Well, honestly, and we can tell them about you, right? So my son, my eldest, who communicates, named her Stevie. Because he does drag, and at the time, drag race, I think they had divas, and one of them, I've never thought of Stevie Nicks as a diva, but apparently she was called in. One of the drag queens was doing Stevie, so that's her name. But he has since told me that she prefers Stephen Nicole, and she does. So that is her name, Stephen Nicole. And I had never planned to keep Miss Stevie. As Miss Emmy's making her way over now, my little zoo here, I had wanted her sister, and one of my son's friends fell in love with her the first time she saw her as a little kitten. So she went home with her, and you stayed with Mom, right? And don't get me wrong, I call her my little brat, but I adore the ground she walks on. She's very teeny tiny too. She's only about 2.5, 3 pounds and fully grown. So Kevin or Z-Sun Dragon says, I agree. You have room in your heart for another indeed. Have done that and always will. Yes. So I wanted to ask you as well about spirit animals, or when we have an animal that shows up in our field, and I keep hearing this from spirit as well. I'm positive you were the one that told me, did you not have a spider was that an animal totem, or was it a guide, or... I'm positive you told me something about a spider before in one of our classes.
Well, I had a snake on my...
Maybe it was someone else that said they had a spider as a spirit. It was a spirit animal or spirit guide.
And yeah, animals, insects, bugs, anything can be, an ant can be a spirit animal or a power animal for you. They all have wisdom to share, and an ant is just as powerful as a tiger. And like during some of my darkest times, I was being taught survival by cockroaches. And cockroaches are nasty.
Yeah, they are.
But once I learned once I listened and understood what they were trying to tell me, they disappeared.
So so for example, what would a cockroach be able to teach you or tell you?
Let's see. One was to be grateful for everything I did have. And he was telling me, you really are abundant. You just don't see it.
Would it be perseverance too? Because they always say if there was ever the end of the world, there'd be cockroaches, and I think they said rats or something, like they can survive in anything.
Yep.
Okay.
And so perseverance, keep going. What else do they tell me? Expressing gratitude.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so it was a snake you had as a guide?
There was a snake, a huge water moccasin. The water moccasin was taller than or longer than I was, and I'm like 5'5". That was sitting on my welcome mat outside my apartment when I was in Tennessee. Luckily, I saw it when I was coming home rather than leaving. Otherwise, it would have been in my apartment.
Oh my goodness.
But snakes are very healing, and when they shed their skin, it's like they're healing a layer. And so that was right when I was getting divorced from my narcissist husband of 30 years and getting ready to move. And so that was me shedding my skin and making changes in my life for my betterment. And that snake was a symbol of that. Now, generally, I go on the rule of 3. You see 3 animals of one type, or, within a certain period of time, that's a message for you. Or you see a animal in an unusual circumstance, like that snake, that was a message for me. And there was like a groundhog outside my apartment complex. That was a message for me.
Interesting.
So if you see something unusual, birds are also messengers.
Ooh.
But
how about
any animal has a message for you, and all you need to do is look up the spiritual meaning of, or like I had a possum on my patio the other day. So look up
I just heard that word before you said that. Possum. I literally did. Julie, this is weird. The things, the connection here. Okay, so you had a possum on your patio. Sorry, I was just like, I literally heard possum in my head as you were saying that. You knew it was a message. So why did you know? You just knew because possums aren't that common in your area, or?
I in the 5 years I've been here, that's probably the first one I've seen.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And like the groundhog, I've never seen a live groundhog out in the wild before. Wow. And it was in my apartment complex. Instead of being in a wooded area or something like that.
Yeah.
It was on a hill next to a tree.
So it was in an unusual spot, because mine, and I've told this story many times on the show, sitting out in the backyard my first year in the summer, about 2 a.m. in the morning. And I just made this beautiful little crystal tabletop fireplace. And I even made apparently went back to the days of Jesus, where it was aluminum cans you crush. You've got to use a special type of wick, like a cotton wick from a broom, and you put olive oil to burn it, right? And I'm sitting out there enjoying this, and I'm looking on my phone, and all of a sudden I feel something licking my baby toe. And I'm going, Oh, isn't that nice? Emmy, my dog, and Emmy's not out here. Because I thought, oh, isn't that nice? Emmy's kissing me on the foot. And I looked down and it was a baby skunk. So I wasn't scared of the skunk, but I thought, oh my God, I don't want it to spray me. So I sprung out of the chair and I'm going, okay, little dude, off you go, off you go. And, just good story to tell. Week later, my partner Dell and I were sitting in the front steps. He went back in. I'm still out. It's after midnight. Same little monkey. We're in townhouses and he came, there's like a walkway between one side of the townhouses and the other. He comes around the corner. He sees me and makes boots right towards me and stops right in front of me. And again, I'm up in the doorway thinking, okay, little dude, I don't want you to spray me. Okay, little dude, off you go. And I keep seeing skunks. So I know it's either got to be a message or maybe
Look
it's
up the spiritual meaning of skunks.
I got to look it up because this is just like it, and it seems to come and go. So it must be a message I need to hear. And
then
you're right.
once you hear it, then chances are it will go away.
Well, I don't mind them. They are cute. It's just,
they are cute.
They're so, I actually wanted a pet skunk. If you really want to know, I really wanted a pet skunk till I found out, like if you got, say, a baby that had been descented in mama, something had happened to mama and they needed a home for them. But then I found out that they're really not meant to be house pets as much as you might want to love them. Yeah. So I thought, no, we'll just not go with that. Jackie said, oh, hello, Jennifer M. She said, I read crystal ball and sometimes animals come through to deliver messages, animals from other regions of the world. That's cool.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to have you back on again. I am booking into March now officially. So I should send you my link again because I just love when you come on here, Julie. You just give such a great perspective. And again, we don't hear about a lot of animal communicators, even though it's our birthright. And I think it's so powerful. And I want to thank you for the messages too that you shared with everybody.
Absolutely. I'm happy to be here.
So what have you got coming up? And again, how can people get a hold of you? And
well, like I said, watch my Facebook business page and Instagram because I will be offering some specials for, Black Friday and possibly around Christmas time too. I'll maybe offer some discounts on my gift certificates or whatever. But my website is www.juliejeannebassett.com and it's JEANNE Bassett. My Facebook business page is facebook.com/J Bassett Animal Communicator. And that has all the shamanic stuff on it as well as my Instagram at Julie Jeanne Bassett. And
yeah. Well, Leslie 1266 says, what a great gift. I'm telling you, you guys, and I'm telling you because from my own personal experience, you will not be sorry booking a session with Julie. I'm serious. It will be life-changing. It definitely was. I can speak from experience. And it's not just one animal she's helped me with. She's helped me with a few of my pets. And I'm telling you, it'll be life-changing. And you may even find out, like Kathy, that, you got a pet. I think it was Quinn trying to give you a message that, Mom, can you hear me? And Julie just said feeling natural animal communication with her as well, right, Julie?
Yeah.
So I want to say to you guys, if you're enjoying what you've been watching, stay tuned because coming up next is The Light Gate with Preston Dennett and Dolly Saffron. Love both of them. They always have a great show. And let me double check. I think it's Carmen. And after I've been looking at this, she was supposed to come on in the new year to give predictions. So we'll have to see what we can do with that. I might be able to squeeze her in somewhere there. Yeah. So you guys have seen Carmen turn a shot. She's coming on next week. She's the one with the astrology. She's got a plethora of books. You guys always love her when she comes on too. She gives you great messages. So if you can, and we'll ask her to bring your birth dates and what time you were born. She can even do, I know, charts. Say you book something with her. But she does do it, I know, on the show for free as well. But even if you don't know your birth time and stuff, she's that good at it. She's got a couple tricks that she can still figure out what your birth chart is supposed to say. So if you guys ever want to book a session with me, I do psychic readings, mediumship, I do Akashic records, I do energy healing, crystal Reiki. And I need to make a video because crystal Reiki, most people don't know what it is, but we work with your chakras. We balance all your chakras, and there's a bunch of symbols, and I work with your energy field. I also do teaching and mentoring. So you can get a hold of me at the moment at facebook.com/The Angel Rock. When I get that course up and running in the new year, I will have a domain name, and then I'll be listing all the resin pieces and stuff too that I'm doing. So I think that's everything. Oh yeah, don't forget, we have 2 groups on Facebook: Paranormal University for all things paranormal, the Angel Rocker Tribe for more things spiritual. And we also have a group for the Thursday night show, The Thing at the Foot of the Bed, with myself and David Hansel, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here. We have a group by the same name, The Thing at the Foot of the Bed. And I think the long part of it is The Thing at the Foot of the Bed with Lorilei, Potvin, and David Hansel. We are getting closer to 200, but I think Dave brought it up last week. I think we're going to start trying to go live in there pretty soon. I'll do some free 1-question readings. You guys got show ideas, questions. I also try to post all the video links from the shows because sometimes we show video clips or pictures. And I want to thank you all for being here. Julie, again, thank you so, so much for being here. I know everybody loves seeing you here.
Thank you for having me. It was fun.
Well, she'll be back, you guys, for sure, for sure. And like I said, stay tuned for Preston and Dolly coming up right next. Hang tight for just one sec, Julie. And love y'all, and I'll see you Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody that's celebrating. We are still doing a show live Thursday night because it's not Thanksgiving here in Canada, even though it should be. And I know David will be with me as well. So we'll see you then. Stay safe, everyone.
Bye, everyone.